wo yire ni die mu a ana wo kunu ni die ni mu a it will affect you. There is a way out. Emma wa wo ye dependent. Mo die ne de fukura dodo. But eye lawyer a program no eye law na bi na me ne wo beka. But me wo ha wa mesi bia fa na me ne wakasa a wo betimi ayesa ade no. Ye fre be domestic violence, domestic violence. Just 3 weeks ago or so. Lawyers ni nyina wo bia aba beka ho asem wa ha. Enti wo wo ye dependent no ma wani na ho na kofa saade ne ye. Wo tie me? Yes. Lawyer afede wo ba wa intime pacho position yourself na on fa omra ne ko edada. Emisa akwose enumere gu a me de agu ne so na ma wa frustrate. Me de agu ne so pa. Oko Ghana no ma me late dodo. Wo yes skill worker dependent akwanya ewo ho. Lawyer me pa cho right kakra e ma me. Yeah. Debbie call right. Debbie sa ko ana wo left. Wo me left. Debbie call right. Lawyer call right. Yes, yeah. That's good. Yeah. Wa wo ye dependent no akwanya ewo ho e de ma. So wo betimi aye application e de akọ home office ha me amount 3 months. A specific application but emreneko lawyer me pacho good evening no munsuo ewie. Bonsuo ade ma ubo wi ane akasa. Good evening lawyer.
Good evening.
Me pacho na what to say? Happy belated Mother's Day. Nenra wudi ne say? Nenra mante wonka. Anenra wo daya ukunu edu pnt enra text message kura wan fa bia ma.
Oh, sorry. Stop now.
Amansan mame one test me. Happy Mother's Day. And I want fa bia nkome ma wo clients.
This is terrible.
All right, lawyer, what the emre ne kwadada enti no chia wadofo na chia wetie ene lawyer me se me ba me nye makers because cha ma che no me ni akwasi gina fo so a me keka mu gu ne so ena me se me ene me pons wa me ntwi bi me nye hwe me basa say ye lawyer say ye ekoye
pa
oh enyo ye ena me se me nkotete akard obi antwima nimu bia ni me mpa akard wasem bia ai enkoye kura ye enya da bia no metete akard stamp abobo manim ateche la chi adofo ne enko medofo pa
all right intimate chia adofo bia mo hwe ya anadwi de topics no ye very your applications are ye titro applications are ye entry clearance applications will bow Ghana no person will back the count who are UK crown so ye what criteria bia ye what a certain specific legal principle bia and say utimi meeting ansana omode inkolana be brow asum dream inte no na ye be discuss it enne it may hope say obia be stay tuned obia be stay locked as we all know Abinel solicitors we are in the heart of East London the heart of it all ye nya yera kwan ye was Stratford 14 Claypool Road London E15 2RJ oh yera kra na ofra me ye be more directions no very easy place to find, very convenient. Uba ye be jiwa too. So, may that say parents say sister now one miss opportunity. Thank you.
As a lawyer, you go straight to the point because you know a quarter da. Me but you any update be our person with the mame. No update are concerning about the school workers are and 11th of March 2024. Ye do my way and you mean in our banner ye. So when the update I will be a person kasa e fa home. E de lawyer want to make
Me too kapa. What to make?
Okay. Odo safa na meka sen ontimeka. Yeah, lawyer who update only any update me pacho obetimi akasafa. Eye skill workers are enne no yeah freezy or mo dependents no ana.
And one can maybe boho income as an update, and net being what the 11th of March 2024. Or mode abam ramu say oh bah as a skilled worker say and net na unya COS the application ebe tum as a skilled worker would dependent which is with spouse munkola omuntimi enye den endi with chi embra UK maimu. However, no in Kofua omu what UK maimu dada. Omo visa no ejuma no omu ye ne pepepe and I say juma no cry and koye omo switch ko another sponsor. Kofua we ni nyano omo timi daso de omo dependent eba UK chronoso. Yen kai say it's for care workers and senior care workers. So about construction, for example, and then Jesse want to mean for dependent ember, but they are specifically honing home to care workers and senior care workers. That means if you are in the category of a nurse, a senior nurse, then you do not fall under that category. Still, I'll bet me they will dependent about. Until this is the update. I may want more. I hope say move fraying say bibia and take a decision giddy giddy. So here bibia fraying what Abinel solicitors. Ebe buamo ewa coin paso ye na bibia esini ye inti patcho ye tremo calls ye tremo messages. You bet make sure say we'll answer accordingly. Thank you.
Near healthcare assistance no wo pese enne free enne ko wo kromi adada na pese wo kofa wo busu ani wo kunu wo ma wo yire edu o mo ba me pacho busa lawyer do ma mo hadada ne de mutimi ekofa mo busu afo mo dependent do mo ba enso so say ennioma wo mo busa no eburo adwen ene entiase so wankasa wo ba e na wo kofa ne de na ba enso so nsemo be busa ne do so lawyer me pacho yenko enne enkomodi aye pese ye die ne so adofo ne etiefo afei na wode afidie na to ye Abinel Success and I would tie wo mo no wasugusu wani gusu a wo hwe wo mo ewo screen so lawyer Emmy one of the executive director ewo Abinel Success and ye no eba betwetwe eye enkomo ene anadwe lawyer mu ya santo a wodi mra frɛ mra kanche mra epusu mra dwane mra hye mra tade o United Kingdom na wo pe a lawyer se kuku dem dia and ye make catch us a bonus campaign outreach TV so and abenya lawyer se kuku dem open krata o pese okofa wo yire no maba o pese wo kohwe wa wo ba onu obi a wo onipa ne ne we so ye be ma so ye oba waje akura na boss wo se he me ma wo nhwa akura no me patcho child arrangement o fe lawyers a omo ne wo ebetwetwe eye enkomo ewo ahase se wo free Ghana ba ye detain you ewo airport yes e ma wo mewura me patcho men kasa entintasuo men tebe emfa pen ni paper ensan bibibiara ewo airport wo tamutuku na kache eye immigration officer na seme wo lawyer for Abinel Solicitors elamba ema wo mo obema bill ama ye de wo aba eye ba UK ahase ena ye pese di nkomo efa wo gina wo baso na wo de agye nkrata so wo gina wo baso no akwaji 2.5 years indefinite leave to remain and now wo 10-year route so wo ba no okra British passport 2.5 years passport and now say wo kofa wo ba no de na free Ghana e de no aba eye ekrom ha say most of Ghana mo wo krom ha mo kofa mobile free Ghana ba de emese sa anyoma no mo tibebre yes say provide and approve at the crutch say wo ni so responsible no ana say kira de kura ema ye hu sa akura no wo akura no ankasa abrabom etime pacho wo bi antenna so na fa wo pen no paper na like a program no like it and share like it and share makon me da say lawyer me pacho yenko eye ene program
okay me da say sister now the say ye kan ho asem there say there is significant deɛ ha nipa akumam nkola, especially sɛ wowɔ kurom ha when you're 2.5 bi yeah wowɔ system mu a cool immigration status ayɛ kama, and now I say when you're indefinite leave to remain, and now I say nyame adom woyɛ British national afei nkɔla a ɔmo aka no nkɔla a wowɔ owiase ha ne nyaa no ɔmo wɔ Ghana man mu. Sɛ yɛka nkɔla a yɛkyerɛ nkɔla a ɔmo nya di the age of 18. Sɛ yɛhwɛ immigration rules no under the UK immigration rules no yɛhwɛ abɔfra na sɛ yɛka no abɔfra a ɛyɛ obi a ɔnya di 18. Wɔdi 18 ɛnɛ ɔnyɛ abɔfra biom ɔyɛ adult. Into anything before the 18th birthday no, in the eyes of the law no, mmara no applicant no ɔyɛ akɔla. Now yɛnkae sɛ nkɔla ɔmo yɛ quite vulnerable, and in certain situations no ɛba ne sɛ nkɔla nankasa a yɛka ɔmo ho asɛm no ɛyɛ akɔla maame anaa papa pɛ na ɛhwɛ ɔmo. Anipa baako ɛno na yɛfrɛ no sole parental responsibility. So wote saa phrase no sole parental responsibility ɛkyerɛ sɛ anipa baako parent baako awofoɔ baako na ɛhwɛ akɔlaa no ɛnyɛ mmienu. Woyɛ saa mistake na I think sɛ yɛaka wɔ show wei so on a few occasions. Yes, some mistake now you will be punished. And I say a further say more refusal, and I'm who saying nipa too. Both father and mother are involved in the child's upbringing and development. Now, sometimes no, a yet impossible say we best some mistake no. Why? Internet maybe bon como and check. Mean take it so much time, but maybe map some very key points. Say, what is so responsibility? Unim said these are the key points. I say will establish it. What is so responsibility? Now I say Abinel solicitors. Omubet me abwao was our coin paswa. A bet say with responsibility no wunkwana ushakolano. Right, Mami, me started with the definition. Almost a definition no is one parent has abandoned parental responsibility. So you can't treat more parent back home what decided say on shakolano. And as we know no your friend single parent, your friend be single parent now what you say said the other parents no were abandoned the parental responsibility because naturally or by way of law no parental responsibility can be for both parents. A bet to me or birth certificate no so oh your papa na say oh parental responsibility oh your mama so oh parental responsibility into say a shase say a wakola na nipa too na what parental responsibility but emran way say one parent has abandoned responsibility. Into ordinary pe akase akola we minhwe no. Eni ma adwen mo se mehwe no. Enye na brabo no emfa me ho. Na one parent no aka no ono na atona na kuma so se obehwe akola no. And that parent we are talking about no ono na owo krom ha UK man mu. Okay. Yes. You see, that parent na yet say our UK maimono. Ese ono na say our sole control. Only Ghana pono. Only Ghana. But ono no our sole control. Obet me a phone precope. A Fred nipa na or no, which is not the other parent. Ebet me na damfo. Ebet me a grandparents. Ebet me a ni cousin. And I say ni siblings po. Wa friend na catch and say ene oko school no me pacho jota mano Satria we ne after school classes me the teacher no be kasa uriye nso a ene de me pesa obedi sa ndwane phone no check ni sanyama no me pese unya aduane kama ma no me pese Sunday way mu sorry a mu kwa sorry na o mani join choir no and o mani join the Bible stars no ho and no na me pese uye ma no this year so no me pese wo de ne ko dentist na ye hwe ne sim na ye check say bibia ya okay ana and no na ye ka say soul control providing the day-to-day direction, day after day, Monday to Sunday, wuna will provide this direction, emana sani pakrono. And chese ese uko tinan in chain, prekupe, na uni akulano wo hot day bi. So life for UK ha, it can still mean say you have sole responsibility. Na sole control now more on a day-to-day basis no. Omo pe ho evidence. Omo mpesa wudi wano beka no sa David. They don't want that. Now, evidence are omo pe. This is what they want. This is what they want. Omo pe. Say they want to see say so responsibility no. Meeting it through and through. You see, Amuka say okay. Decisions have been taken and actions performed in relation to the upbringing of the child. Decisions have been taken and actions have been performed. So decision will take a decision now. One step will take you towards maybe an education, maybe an health cry or call hospital. No, yes, you want a flu jab and I say yen janisa and I say what cutting in Nike crano or man tetanus injection and I say yen janisa and I say man measles injection. When me nyano say utumi Fred the parent over UK maimo and that parent will take that action to make sure certain decisions are done and are completed concerning the child are very important. When nyano yes say say it's all about evidence. Unto me you are no and can say okay yes me na me man war tetanus injection and I say onya malaria no me na me can say man malaria anti-malarial drugs or malaria drugs be they be it has to be in writing. I say omutimi tro doctor so on trantro right into say we nipa bia who feel say oh emran so a omu de be ma o keke no eno de nsisi sa it will not happen. Doctor say obetro letter nko ade a na kire say esi wafa phone what only doctor na akasa doctor not can confirm say yes of course on the 15th of March 2023 o friend ubisa akolana say o money direction so o money anti-malarial malaria medication wenum nyina say you've taken a decision and certain actions have been performed by way of say wo na wo die nim a wo hwa akola no we ni nyana na wo form me wo case no na wo build wo case no. This is how to establish sole responsibility. Importantly, no, we are in charge for all the key aspects of the child's life, all the key areas. So your key areas are what are key areas? What are key areas? The health, the emotional well-being, the education, the religion. These are the key areas of a child's life. Well, say at Abinel Solicitors, no, these key areas, no, ye boa money pie, money ye fe, ye boa emma evidence, no, and we have ways and means of deriving, or abstracting sa evidence, no, to make sure, say the entry clearance officer, no, or to me, a decision, no, at once in a favorable way. Another point we have to realize that is very important. Some of the other decisions are apart from your health and medical treatment and religion. Also residence baby akola no betena obetena wo fie ho ana And also ne wo relative betsna ho ni ho preko pe. And also obe rented dine ama akwala no. Ni holidays kra obe kono. So obe spend it 2 days or 3 days outside of baby a ote wo Ghana hokra na. Wo na wo make a decision no. Wo choosing the holidays. Say about recreation, say can recreation. Ebia the extracurricular activities. Ni swimming asem. And I said tennis a obo. And I said ball or pe ball bopa. Ni big beer club. And our girls scout. And our boys scout. Girls guide. And our boys scout. And our red cross. Ni recreation ni nya obeye no. Wo na uye in charge of that. Na nipa ɔtena saa recreation no so no wo na wofrɛ no ɛma ne saa direction no. All of these things form part of sole responsibility. Ɛnyɛ health ne school pɛ o. Na nkɔlaa ɔmo tackle clubs nso so ɔmo wɔ school hɔ a girls guide na ɔmo ahyɛ ɔmo uniform, red cross ɔmo ahyɛ ɔmo uniform kama. Weinom nyinaa no utumi gye letters informing the entry clearance officer say ɛba ne recreation a ɛbɛma akɔlaa no n'ani agye dance club n'ani agye wo kra na wohwɛ saa adeɛ no so. Ebia akɔlaa no ankasa no ɔwɔ property bi wɔ ne din mu ɔmo agya no property obi agya no property ana wo kra na wode maa no wo na wohwɛ saa property no so. Wo na oma guidance was our property. Okay, obetumi atena mu dan we omo de akyɛ no but obetumi atena dan we mu. Or making sure say bibia is registered in the child's name. Ni nya ka ho. Ni nya ka how you treat the child's property po ka ho. Even say akwala no benya legal representation to say coming to Abinel and remember say akwala no na ye client anyway. Oba no we sponsor. Who 2.5 and now who indefinite or British passport. Who na we sponsor no. But akwala na ye applicant no. But who as a parent who na wa call lawyer no ho. Who na wa buy ho. A instruct and say o pese ye edwuma ma akwala no. Ni nya no eka the important decision making of sole responsibility. Mayenkai very importantly before I finish this very important point me pacho yenkai says sole responsibility is not the same as legal custody. Sometimes no ebanisa because say who person who prove it beyond doubt no na wafa Ghana court ho wakodi legal custody court order me pacho omo kan wo omo guidance mo say legal custody no it does not count for sole responsibility. Ana papa fo ne mame fo a sebi cash wo mo ho no a de bia omo feel guilty inti because say omo ni akola ne ni ho no sika bebre kon ho money transfers na ye send it transfers no sa 200 £100 £50 into a body say yeah sole responsibility application ama akola na gidi wakotam money transfer receipts aba say me pacho lawyer anyway na kire say me hwe me bo me hwe no because scam ma say one me pacho financial responsibility it does not in itself demonstrate sole responsibility. As I say, because so said you have this, sole control over the child, and yes, making the key important decisions in the child's life, and yes, sika ebwa emma unye emma uchianya maka ebwa, but and then chesa who was sole responsibility for the child. Yes, and you have to realize something very important. Where nipa two parents are involved in the child's upbringing. Into yes, some mistake no. Now the other parents no can application no one. Kai say it will be rare, very difficult for you to establish sole responsibility because sole means one. Inti ɛyɛ den na wa appear wɔ DNA report mu. Ɛyɛ den na wonya no. Sɛ waka sɛ ɔnhwɛ akwadaa no a, ɛyɛ den na wakɔ school hɔ akɔgye report. Ɛyɛ den so na wagye consent letter every parent a wɔwɔ Ghana. Wo na wo can say wo na wo so responsibility. So they are expected to see say wo nkwa na wo ka akwadaa no ho. Because once say ɔmo ho say two ka ho a, it does not mean say akwadaa no ɛsɛ ɔbɛka wo ho ha, because it's joint responsibility. Inti mpacho ansa na wobɛyɛ application way me pamwakyɛw contacting and Abinel solicitors ansa yɛbɛtumi aboa mo. A topic where ankasa no a topic a very very close to my heart, because in Koladia we are innocent, and once the parent is solely taking care of the child's upbringing, no ɛsɛ ɔtumi bɛka no ho, and no na money future no akɔ ahead. Nti maye nye bibia sebe na ye say application no the other parent no ka ho or call hospital no in the letter now mo tro report mo tro no na other parents no ho our son nsa me pa chao, and no try say there is evidence that there's joint responsibility. Sometimes say some people ask certain questions. Omo bisa say lawyer Amy saying na metimi establish sole responsibility. Me last year penna me getting involved in a Colano life. Now before that, no, the other parent was not involved, but now it'll be for fro. Na sha Colano. But the last 1 year, the last 2 years, the Colano depend. The last 3 years, na me getting involved. Into a bad day na me establish sole responsibility. The Home Office air cano, the Omo can say the sole responsibility can be recent or it can be long-standing. Internet said, what akolana bra 1.5 years krana. Even that is recent, but you can still establish your responsibility. Internet said, from the day I free Ghana eba chronosono, UK minosono. It means that from that date to present, nawasha akolano, debi. Or more can say it can be recent. Internet say it's a very important point. It doesn't mean say and what banner brab mono into say you don't have sole responsibility. Sometimes at me say the other parent has passed away. Na still ye gusu try say you be establish sole responsibility. Emrana has been set out in such a way, so Emrana for both 2.5 years, no, and for indefinite leave to remain. Omu make it a specific requirement or specific rule. Ewo say one parent and frumudia, so responsibility is not needed. But obi who say nipa bi o want to say so responsibility no into omu koji school letters omu koji way, but not knowing said the other parent has passed away and no dear so what passing away there's no need to even show this because you are the only parent who is living at the moment. Until no na esa provided the necessary documents to prove said the other parents no ontiase. Oh, these are the difficulties we face. Sometimes no crano. And to me, but say both parents are in the UK. Oh, but ya titi say so responsibility ninti. Not just say do or die. It says you try say you provided say one parent is living in one address and the other parent is living in another address. Not meanwhile, so more catch home office say you are together. Ebia mama no awo wo chain, but only papa awo ba konso UK chrono so. Omo ba together as a married couple. Omo UK my mo together. And omo won kola wa Ghana, but because say omo so responsibility nin kano, omo getting very confused. And yeah, na the say It has to be one or the other. And the bakun tina South London, na bakun tina East London, na yen to say a sole responsibility. In such a case, know what 2.5 years based on a British child. No. Or based on exceptional, so one is based on British child, one is based on partner. I say a kai say mrabi wo ho a protect sanko. They are together. Into a no there is different. Mrabi wo ho a etimi protect sanko for nonso because they are together as a family unit already. Into a no, and it does not qualify for sole responsibility. Into these are the rules. Oh yeah, application where me pamwachel, me pamwachel. You know, with sole responsibility, no. Say a quarter. Say oh yeah, the first application is like drawing the first blood. Oh yeah, the first application enko ye krana. What's saying on why in the basa? Oh quarter. Aye. It's like an uphill struggle. Edding papa to convince the judge because what's saying on that? But at Abinel Solicitors, they say, my Kai so responsibility is a very high threshold and very difficult to meet it. But at Abinel Solicitors, no, the way I shisha wo case no, the way I ma case no no, say upinio now the makolana and I say umpinio a kokota they'll rule in our favor because said the first application ya no kai say a banner entry clearance appeal or more share evidence udi buy evidence first udi can application no it is a what's nasi precope udi what DNA no cry other parents look at home. Once we say oh so responsibility. O say akola no papa ewu, anani mama ewu, one for death certificate bianca home. O di wade econo financial receipts. Western Union need tap send receipts in kwana o de koye, but you are expecting a great result. Kai say wo say wo case na ansana e bedru judge nanim. But you make sure say ye pano, ye no fine. You shine no. Until by the time say a entry clearance officer is two things. Either say omode maya immediately no, or a courta ye ko fight or court na. And as you know, we are experts at this. We make sure say we get the right result. The right result. So that is what I have to say about sole responsibility. But and then me the bibi kakra beka ho. Ama ye hu bibia ehye sa financial requirement worry UK niya and who worry indefinite leave to remain a settled person na sebi financial requirements na eye ne den but however mu won kola and now who was step children chrono so mu ye British and you don't meet the financial requirement. There's nothing that can make you meet that sikano. Yenkai say nyau biana to me 18,006. Not to mention in the next 1 month's time, £29,000. Eskakesie pa, eskakesie. Na nyau biana na wosaskano. Now, you will be a friend of exceptional circumstances. Exceptional. At Abino Solicitors, say a show of financial requirement and we start going into your family life. Who are kolana? So let's kind of say, conform more worry hano. Every almost spouses were Ghana. Some of them no more by wo akola or chrome her. More British. But omuni kwaya more back because scanning ni ho financial gross 18.6 no onya. Your ways and means yet immediate submission no emma emuye hwam recently a very important article but uba abinel solicitors in no say a very important article I discussing children because at the beginning of the program say children are deemed to be vulnerable just like in this country older people the older generation can't the already 40 and now 45 now you can't the older population 60s 70s 80s echo omo deeming omo as vulnerable. Omo deeming nipa omo ye disabled, whether physically or psychologically. Omo deeming omo to be vulnerable into omo show omo ye. Na in Kolanso, they are also deemed to be vulnerable as well. They had a look at the impact of how do we call it? So ube stop a partner, ube stop a spouse, aba krom her. They had a look at it. Their etimi young kola, in Kolana, they can behave badly at school. They can become what do you call it? Psychologically, disturbed, depression to me, but never be brave to me see because say the other spouse are over Ghana maimu. You're stopping no because 18.6 no onion inti yen pesa or beba. Sa psychological torments na hang kolano. Ye wo article say ye quote here ye because it affects children. It really does affect children. Almost emotional well-being, almost psychological, almost mental health. Affects you. Why can't daddy come? Why can't mommy come? Why? Now, you're trying to sound so. Yen Kai say it's not just biological parents. Kai say step parents and so worry about some of them no almost stepping into the role of a parent. The other parent is absent. But yet to send ni mame and yet to send ni papa. They are very close. Into stopping Musa or because of 18,600 and in the future 29,000 yet to me share in Kofo one kola. It me the for me argument. And he said, if you are in that situation and now only mobia, sebi omo the refusal stamp abon ne refusal decision. Omo bona say on to me back from her. Me pacho. Ana won kola British in kola and in kola omo settled or chrome her. You feel say a decision where they are hard doing decisions to me the tears brenipa because omo nimpa say hey 18.6 no man to me anye. Into next month, about 29,000. May a day, minimum back. Me will bounce on me channel. Me channel so I mean to me nye. So 50-60 hours a week mean to me nye. Now where do you turn to? You turn to Abinel solicitors. And then we'll fat through the right processes, the right channels to make sure say would duffel ever count home asum dream. Into system now. This is what I have for sole responsibility and also exceptional circumstances. Just in case, say, we seek our end so to mean foul partner, but what it does to children. And no, Namaka Huasem Anajui. Thank you.
Good. Obia morning sema lawyer wachire mu pa obia ene na chese ma mo pese mo kofa mo ma ede wo mo ba no say ukra wo indefinite leave to remain ukra British passport ana say we ye uni ana skill workers bi kra wo bia wo pese wo kofa ne ba ede ni free Ghana ba bia me pa cho wana dream na for lawyer na woni no entwetwe akra ne eho enkomo oka requirement bebre no oka ye me say wo na metro na so afa wo pen ne paper na wo etro say wo pesa wo kofa wo ba de na lawyer pesa wo kire no e bia yemfa careful yi munya example de bi mo krampo de den yes mo ka ho careful yi ene mo amo nkrata wo yes care ni a wo kra visa ana yenya wo nkrata ti krom ha no e bia wo ja wo ba ho e na wo ba ekrom ha sei se na radio ya wadom wo nkrata ba wo pesa wo kofa wo ma edem omoba ma mukra skill worker afei ena awrade aye wadom wanya baabi atena why settle enti wo pese wo kona wo kofa wo baba de lawyer ka se ni nyina na meba ne tofa de akire wo no because bi ase ne no wo ka no nti no na bi a wadwene ni eni ho wo ba brochire wo the skill worker ene ba ye wo ba no wo qualify so wo de wo ba eka ho ede ne ba but because of obi man so na wo ba woni baabi a wo betie enti wo ba ye ebe ye settle wanya adwuma ye awurade e wadom wanya baabi te say wo pese wo kofa wo ba ede ne ba me pa chew before na wo ba no eno ane se wo pagya wo ba passport na wo de adu agiko no enye saa na etie lawyer pese wo kire ye say wo pese wo kofa wo baba e wo se wo kire adekro pote a kire se akra no oye wo ba akra no o ne life wona wo make a decision for the child and no no say so parental responsibilities enti eno no wo akra no ye ko ne pane a o babu bia ene eye akra ni school fees ona wutua o se enye tap send nko ena eye prove se akra no wo ne akra no abrabom na emom na e wo se kire se wo na wo make decision do wo ti abrochire wo indefinite wo British passport wo kwa yi nkrata wo ja wo ba ma wo maame wo papa ena e bia wo ba abrochire say na rade e wadom obese wo kofa wo ba no eba birth certificate ni yes of course udin e wo so say wo na wo ye mother wo na wo ye father na akura no when they make decisions e wo akura ne life sa na lawyer asoma wo kan nyina sa na opachre say ye wo a prove anything prove no e bi ni say e bia wo na wo free school ho bia wo na achi akra ni school fees wo na ama akra na duane tap send wo prove wo de akire akra no both parents no mumie no nyina mo wen na lawyer me question number 1 start free na me be phone lines na entum lawyer the kind how many moms prove because wo kasa nyina no na was thinking say wo ba be kasa wo can prove no say it can be right now or long time prove so wo ya waria for instance so wo ya waria e bi omo say here 6 months pay slip ye here 3 months proof of address we say prove no wo mo here how many months prove 1 year ana from birth na kopim year na wo kofa akra na ba no e no mo here prove say akra no wa hwe no ana wa akra ne life mu ana mo here 2 months pe see here 2 months prove a kire say wo akra ne life mu how many months.
Okay, you know, very importantly, you know, Home Office, Omar can say it can be recent or long standing. So Omar can say recent. Like Nanyana, it's to say it was so responsible. But I said a weak corner, Nanyano, Ushen Akolano or in Colano. So a year long standing and so I say we prove it say a long standing. Now, since I will buy UK maimu, 1 hour channel. But it does not mean so be a 6 months, no be a 10 years. Not just say one has more power over the other. Ninyanomono is evidence. Utimitre the 6 months say one was so control ewa kwalana bra bomono. What Home Office are saying is it can be taken into account. It can be recent or it can be long standing. It's no na ebwa case, and it is helpful because biana sometimes I call out wa dreams no I late kakra, then you now I started and say fat visa no man colano. Yeah, it's never too late. Yes.
Next question here, lawyer. Both parents no enyina is alive. Omumu bia ni ho awuo. Maame no ene wo UK, papa ne wo Ghana. Na akora no enyo ne papa ne tie. E bia wone ne grandparents na etie. Yes. Akora ne papa wo Ghana ba wote ne baby onwuye. Because kasa no say bia na one parent awu they need the proof. I just say papa no ana maame no awu. That's the proof on any death certificate. But this one no, both parents nyina is still alive. Baba ko ba bedi UK ha. Ba ko e wo Ghana o tene baby, but akra na ye kofa na ba ne de owo Ghana a wo te or ni grandparents in chain. but maame no ye fa ne say one parent no wa ha no so ye maame no so ye papa no de wo UK no kofa na ba no won no and the shark akra no otue school fees so ye bibia wa akra ne life no e de ma no but yes still akra ne papa tiase akra ne papa wo Ghana akra ne papa ko sha akra no or visit no at times and no so
Well, say what can be real of visiting at times, if it is evident, yes, that Akolano has visits, Akolano is accompanied by father at any point. Yenkai said that is a big no-no. Omum pesa ombehunasa. What they say, what Emranomone say, one parent has abandoned their responsibility. It is a can't abandon that. Now I can say, ebia, it could be say on fahu into a kolano ne grandparents netino. And I said could be say na sa other parent or Ghana no one moving on, or remarry. Or remarrying so yet 10 warning say and fan kola and back aware na say me pacho ye pacho yen pe akola bia and ye muba aware na say fine. That still means say they have abandoned their responsibility. Into a banner say once in a while what try akola no ho or ko visitino or the ne ko papa ye or the ne ko hospital appointments. DNA ya request say omonye no or no one ko sign the consent forms or the consent form aka ho na try say your parent has not abandoned you. The entry clearance officer can ask and say, why don't you stay with the parent in Ghana? You don't, there's no sole responsibility. Into adding our own parent in chain because both parents have responsibility and are actively involved in the child's life. Into yen kanipa bia once in a while or kanushe or the local school ho. Or more ye bibia no what parents even what fa afan home to make sure say or person or look say he or she is involved. And no dear, we yes sana omu hua they'll refuse the application immediately. It's one person, the other parent has abandoned because someone abandon responsibilities are uba aunt now the grandparents in chain. Sebi aunt now are down for chain. Aunt now unyan chain say ni papa and ni mame wo hong kwa dia unless say willingly no wa abandon the responsibilities. Inti that is what I have to say about that. Patel.
Okay, meda say enemy nya technical issues pa. Your video no automatically cut it off and asa ba na kwasi efri wo ho ana asese. Okay, enti lawyer me pam cho me bia phone lines no e de atum ebium first one no akate and we say enso so aba enti no ma na mo so no me pa cho mo nkoso na mo share video no mo share e ma wo on akate and asa ba ko me page wa bon sem se video na e 2 me beautiful lines at any question be a will be a person will busa a ye lawyer be anum ubetimi e busa a ye lawyer ubetimi a friend will busa lawyer fa enen common ho anase emfa ene common ho krana yesto ubetimi afre studio number 00447502422799 numbers ni nyina no obetimi afre wo numbers ni nyina so na one me atwetwe enkomo ana woni lawyer atwetwe enkomo me say we have problem we have technical problems ewa ahase because me who say video no yes say ewa machines no so it's me pacho wa wo person wo frɛ bia no me pacho wo fra emowudi ofra me emowudi numbers no nyina na good screen so no any question bia person obusa lawyer bia no no obusa me pacho good evening net saying
Good evening.
Made off upon Pacho way.
Yeah.
Ain't you enra? Only way you're mamma, may wish me happy Mother's Day. Mamma, me any Mother's Day. Oh,
I mean, I'm a reserve whether by the.
ah, and what's an Kenra moba? Moba na moba, near celebrity ebo no mama. And yes, she. You, maybe I try young call. Young Danny.
Yeah, Pacho. Now I was listening to analysis now, lawyer Ayen. Now, person maybe say, for example, say if you fall into that situation like both parents were harmful, now back like a child were neglected kolano. So now social worker catch us say be an okay. You need to apply for child custody so that one will be responsibility. So in this case, who per se who apply court for social child custody in board, who per se will share a even though we are neglecting when you die, when you BPR, like hospital, school, manual, you put it to yourself, say you be doing a board. You don't want to go to the extent to the court, Is that any issue will happen if that's over the renew documents or not?
Lawyer, what a nasa or person busano. Danu de better sonueti.
Okay.
Lawyer, Trana say.
All right. Inti say so responsibility is as such that yes, I mean if one of the parents is abusive, right? Then I will just so custody. That's fine, but so custody in itself does not mean that he was so responsibility. And so when you're so controlled, a partner in life, that psychological and emotional welfare, the education, the religion, the recreation, the extracurricular activity. And so we are a part of all of that. The fact that what could you so custody order because the other parent is abusive does not mean you have sole responsibility. Still, I say would say when I hear all the important decisions. Ewa Kolana Bravo. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, me patcho kasa lawyer 8 you.
I'm Sabam Patron, lawyer. So Obi was skilled worker dependent. So UK. Not say or say or Swissy a main applicant. Can person me business say Obi here
IELTS. Open so busa say. We ye dependent no se wo so nya adwuma na wo so hia kwa obehia IELTS ni bia na
yes obehia to the English language requirement UK mind yes
me patcho lawyer say ane wo so so obehia ebi lawyer me patcho me ye sorry e was ye de dwumade ne ba na wieye because and I mean pick a course no emfa emma katikati ye series. Hello me dof me pacho yenko.
Hello pacho me.
Yes me pacho yewa.
Pacho good evening.
Good evening me dof.
Me pacho me brother ni obi awo na otina kwada no so enya 2.5 na me pese me bisa se wasani obi fo pronso akọ sa akoda akọ no betumi age 2.5 ni bia mana na se enya possible
betumi age bia mana
okay
now ya boa why
good me pacho lawyer se friend no betumi age bia mana
me pacho yo mate me da se
okay me so me da se All right. Etiefo me pamocho obi biara enfre eye lawyer mesremo a me have technical issues kakra. Enti lawyer Emi numbers ni nyina egu eye screen so me pamocho obia